The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host and guests and are not necessarily those of WSTU. WSTU does not endorse products that may be mentioned. Any reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast is strictly prohibited without written consent of WSTU. Time now for European Kitchens and Bath here on WSTU. Call in with questions and comments. 220-9788. 220-WSTU. Now here's your host, John Campion.
Well, hello, everybody. This is John Campion, yes.
Yes, indeed.
And my world-famous co-host, Frank Mezzapel.
Right. It's good to see you.
It's happy. Yeah, thank you, Frank. It's good to be here. It's, I'm starting to get used to this Tuesday
Episode
evening.
3.
Yeah. 3, 4, I don't know. I'm starting to lose track.
That's great.
But, hey, Ride Time, Martin County. Listen up. It's the flagship station, WSTU 1450. And really great to be able to have my quick little show here. John Campion, owner of European Kitchen and Bath in Stuart. And I also have a store in Vero Beach. We're in our 25th year. And one of the great things we like to do here is Frank is so good at just moving me along and making faces at me. So we have a good time.
Yes, we do. We do.
And today I'm going to have my first guest of my radio career of my own show.
Wow.
And
he's your own prodigy, too.
He is my own prodigy.
Yeah.
It's like a mini-me. It's my, I have 2 sons, and this is my younger son, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
Ben is here.
Hello, everybody.
See, he almost sounds like me.
Yeah.
Isn't that scary?
Yeah.
Well, we've got Ben here. I'm going to say a couple things first, and then we're going to get into some fun conversation because Ben is leading the life. No, he's loving and living in Florida. We've been here. We were just telling somebody here that we moved here 15 years ago, basically this week.
Seems like just yesterday.
Isn't it amazing how quick it goes?
It does.
Really.
It does. And the most exciting thing about that was I think we had torrential rains when we first moved here, which was a good sign of what was to come. And we closed on our house in Nashville and we closed on our house in Palm City, both on the same day.
Wow.
So it proves that you can be in 2 places at one time.
Yes, it does prove
Right,
that. Absolutely.
But anyways, I just wanted to shout out to everybody. This is Easter week, Good Friday coming up here on Friday.
Yeah.
So we start kind of winding down. And then, of course, a big celebration for many Christians on Sunday with Easter.
Absolutely.
And, we're very fortunate to be able to enjoy that, get families together. And it's also a sign of when the birds start flying north, which we will miss them. I will miss them. They contribute a lot to our economy.
You're not talking about the feathery.
Frank, I am so sorry.
I was confused, too.
Yeah, well, Ben would be confused. No, he wouldn't. He would. I'm sorry about that. But that's half the fun I have. But anyways, I've been working on getting the list together of who we're going to have as guests on this show. And it's a wide variety, and I'm honored to have my son, Ben.
It's great to be here, Dad.
Well, I'm not sure where to start with him because he's leading, kind of a cool life. Ben.
Well, it all started 26 years ago.
Thank you. Yeah.
Wow, 1991.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's quick math.
It was
well, my son's 26.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's right.
He's my youngest, too.
Well,
also, yes.
Ben was born. Where were you born, Ben? Do you remember?
Richmond, Virginia.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
beautiful Virginia.
One of the great things was Dee Dee and I, my wife, of course, who I've mentioned several times. She kept her maiden name because her name is Nice. Dee Dee Nice. So. And of course, I'm a Campion, and when we were in the hospital, it was a Catholic nun hospital.
Okay.
And the nuns were having a problem with us not having the same last name. But we kind of
telling those none of their business.
Oh, ba-dum-bum. Well done.
Well, Ben, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself? What's going on in your life?
Well, 26 years old, as you've heard. I currently work on boats. I had a day off today, so I was down in Juneau detailing a boat. So even when I'm on my off days, I'm still on boats.
Wow.
Yeah.
On boats things? Never mind. I wanted to just
Nice
kind of
try.
give a little. This way, if I lay some of this out, then we can kind of fill in the blanks, Frank,
All right.
especially yourself, because you are the master of the board and thought.
Some
And
days,
having-
some
well,
days are better than others.
You know, having we have an older son, Sam, who's going to be 30 this year. Ben will be what, 27?
27. Yep.
Yeah, and Ben and Sam were, they went to Martin County schools, graduated, and both are UCF. Ben is a UCF grad,
So Sam.
and well, thank you. He'll appreciate that. And one of the things. Ben is his own man. He is exactly the same way right now as he was the day he was born. He is
I was a little shorter than
a little shorter,
Yeah.
a little shorter.
Yeah.
I think he
Less
had.
articulate.
I think he had
yeah.
Maybe.
a cone head. He had a green cone head when he was born, like
Wow.
most children. That will freak you out. But,
full set of teeth.
Nice.
well, that's because you were born in Virginia, not somewhere else.
Good save.
Sorry about that, Tyler. Hopefully you're not listening too much. But, I actually have to give Ben a lot of credit. He you've been working on a few things recently. Have you obtained your captain's license?
Still
for
in the
boating?
process.
Okay.
It's a long process.
Is it?
I'm making
Yeah.
it. I'm making it longer than it needs to be, but yeah,
Get it right.
yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of paperwork.
Yeah.
A lot of certifications and other things you need to just get, and then you send it in and should be it.
Yeah, with a big fat check, right?
I already paid all the money.
Oh, yeah.
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 A lot of
There's
money.
Yeah.
There's a few checks they
Yeah,
keep
oh,
kind of
yeah.
going, man, and when you're a young guy, 100 here, 200 there, whatever here,
Yeah.
adds up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I make it work though.
Okay, good. Yeah, because
Good
you're
for you.
dedicated for the end result.
Yes, I am.
There it is. Yeah.
Well, you see, we're on the fortunate side that Ben has officially moved out, but he lived with us for quite a while because he was doing some pretty cool traveling on a boat. We have one of my brother-in-laws, Uncle Ken, and Ben. What happens with Uncle Ken and Ben stays with Uncle Ken.
Yeah,
and
that's
Ben.
probably wise.
But
Yeah.
Ken is up in Virginia. And he's a very unique guy, and he has what is it? Tell us, is 55
48-foot Fontaine Peugeot catamaran,
sailboat.
Selena 48.
So
That's where the love started. 2014.
yeah.
Yep,
And you said, this is going to be my life.
exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so he had the fortunate thing that was purchased in France, and they went over and were sailed around Europe for 2 years during the summers and had guests. And Ben was kind of like
I was the honorary boat slave.
Right.
That was my title.
You were the mate.
Yes.
Yes. Mate of the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then Ken and some friends finally sailed it over to the States, to St. Lucia. And then last 6 months you were out in the Caribbean, just kind of.
Wow.
Yeah, that was the final straw. After that 6-month season, I was like, all right, this is what I got to do.
Yeah.
All
right,
And
yeah.
a very, very cool thing. And
Yeah.
what Ken and Dee Dee's oldest sister, Sherry, would do is they have friends all over the world.
Mm-hmm.
And they would invite friends and family, particularly when they were in Europe and here, to come join them for a week. And Ken is quite the organizer and set up a pretty cool program for everybody to go sailing for a week. And they'd have to, I think when Ben went over to Europe the first time, he had to fly into Rome and then catch a train to Monaco and hop on the boat. And
He doesn't make it easy. You
No.
got to go. You're going to him. He's not going to you.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
hey, whatever it takes, right?
So I mean,
Yeah.
it was a pretty cool thing. So anyway, so tell us how you. I think it's very. I'm really happy for him because he's been able to go out there and meet some people and do
Right.
some different things. So lately, he's been working for a gentleman out of the West Palm, a developer,
Yep.
and
Nick Mastriani.
Oh, that Irishman. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Irish, very Irish. Yeah.
I don't think so, but
But he's a developer, and Ben is what's he got? He's got a couple small boats.
yeah, he's got an 80-foot Viking, which is a sport fish boat
Yeah.
called Chinatime. He has a 41-foot Bahama, which is also called Chinatime. Really nice center console boat, and he also
You
has
can do the same name on two different vessels?
do it on as many vessels as you
call
want.
it when you call it like Chinatime 1 and Chinatime 2.
I would, but yeah.
He likes being on Chinatime.
Okay. All right.
He also has a cigarette boat. If anyone wants to buy it, it's for sale. He's trying to get rid of it. It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Very dangerous.
A lot of fuel, huh?
Yeah. Not so
It's-
much fuel as it is. I mean,
Incredibly fast.
It's a
right?
cigarette boat that's smoking.
Yeah.
How's
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
exactly.
Smoking
The
hot.
day of spun
Yeah.
puns
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
But so Ben, basically, I guess you are the guy who you work for the captain.
Yep, I'm the mate. There's two crew. The captain, Mike Croak. Some of you may know him. He's a local
Yes.
guy. He's been around. He's a great guy. He's the captain. He's been there for 3 years, and I'm the full-time mate. We get it done. We keep his boats immaculate, and we.
Well, I kind of waited a week, Frank, because I had told you I had some pretty fun things. This guy Mike, who Ben works for,
Yes.
I've only seen him in little video stuff. I haven't met him, nor have I met the owner. So the fact that Ben's been working there for a year? A year
just
now.
about a year in July.
Yeah, they say, well, we're going over to the Bahamas, and so they hop in the boat and they drive 40 knots over to
32.
Baker's Bay, but apparently Mike is he's not listening by any chance, is he tonight?
Well, it depends what we're about to talk about.
Well, Mike's got some great sayings.
Okay.
He's one of these guys likes to use, like when you say, when I get to the fork in the road, take it.
Right.
Or like Yogi Berra used to say, cash, it's just as good as money. And so,
Love that one.
I think over time we've heard a few of his sayings through Ben. And Mike, if you're listening, I think it's great stuff because you're trying.
Right.
And how many people get to say they're a boat
Right.
captain?
Yeah.
He does a good job.
You want me to? I have a couple things written down here.
Yeah, why don't you let's see what you got there.
So maybe you can give us some context here. How about if you say, "Proof is in the wall"?
Proof is in the wall.
Yeah, like
I've heard proof is in the pudding.
There you go.
Yes.
So what was that in reference to?
We were
Ben?
just talking about a acquaintance who doesn't always say the truth. He likes to fabricate.
Right.
So he was simply saying that proof is in the wall.
Okay, I mean,
All right.
hey, people, please don't run through that red light from laughing. Okay.
He kind of I think what he does is he thinks of two sayings and kind of mixes them together.
Oh, okay.
The proof is in the pudding. The writing's on the wall.
Yeah.
I guess if he took the pudding and threw
Yeah.
it at the wall, then
Throw the pudding on the wall. The proof's on the wall.
that's
Yeah.
like the double.
Okay.
That's like the double truth. That's
Okay.
the whole truth.
well, here's a good one. Ben was just talking about Nick, the owner. I hope Nick's not listening.
Uh-oh.
You guys can get me
actually-
fired.
No. I always say to Frank after I say this.
Can I say that?
Yeah, but I can say this because
Okay.
it's good.
Okay.
It's after working for Nick, any other boss will be like a walk in the breeze.
Walk in the breeze, man.
So
Everybody has their own song on the show. John's got his song,
What's
right?
that?
And this is John's song. Maybe. Right. All right. So in honor of John, I wanted to. All right, we're gonna kill that. And
Is that Big John?
yeah, now we've got one for you. Now we have to come up with one for your Ken. But anyways, this is a theme song from the movie, the TV show, Gentle Ben.
Oh, that's what they call me.
All right, there it is. You got your own theme song.
I get behind that.
All right.
it could be a ringtone.
Yeah, it could be his ringtone.
Theme song.
Perfect. There you go. All right. So now it's official.
Yeah, that's
You're
good.
part of the show.
Yeah, we'll loop you into F Troop sometime,
Yeah.
Ben. That's great. I love the Big John. I just have one more from Mike. It's kind
Okay.
of short.
All
but
right.
He says, I was overly whelmed.
Overly whelmed.
Sometimes it gets a little overly whelming out there.
Overly whelming.
There's a lot of stuff you got to deal with, especially with boats. And our owner's great, but he kind of short notices us sometimes. So
Overly whelmed.
yeah.
Well, of course, I don't know how else to say it. The boat industry here is so massive,
Yeah.
and when I grew up in Michigan, I used to clean boats and work on boats and do all that. But I never had the ability. It was Lake Michigan, big deal. Here it's we're on the salt water. We're gonna cruise over to the Bahamas to a nice private place for a few days and hang out. And I'm really happy that he has found at least something that will get him going in the right direction. You've always been a good traveler. You've done a lot of traveling in Europe.
I
And,
certainly leave my mark, don't I?
He does. He does. Yeah. But when you went to Rome that time to catch up with Ken, didn't you stayed in a hostel in Rome for a few days?
Yeah,
with
a couple
bunch of
days.
people and
Kind of cruised around the city. It was just as hot as it was here, if
Right.
not hotter.
Yeah, Rome's could be pretty warm. What time of year was it?
July.
Yeah. Oh yeah, a little toasty.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
And so when was the hostel you stayed in air conditioned?
Yeah, that was a nice place.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was really cheap too. I met some cool people, and it was like right smack dab in the city.
And English wasn't a problem over there.
A lot of people spoke English,
Yeah.
but I mean, I speak Spanish, so I could kind of get by with.
Yeah.
I learned some Italian
Yeah.
too, so
Yeah. Pasta.
yeah, pasta,
Pizza.
sausage.
So sausage in it.
Well,
Yeah.
this is your Italian
Yeah,
descent right
yeah,
here.
okay.
Mezzapelle.
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 I thought you were Irish.
Yeah, same thing.
He got you on
yeah.
that one.
Hey, well done.
Yeah, he's from Detroit,
Yeah.
Ben. So
Yeah.
being a Michigan guy, we got a lot in common, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Well, we've been having, for the last couple of years, if you've listened to the show before, we've had a couple of several sessions running Frank's always doing the Martin County Business Exchange radio show on Wednesdays, which is tomorrow, and I guess you got Lee Carroll again back, and
Yep.
I think I see you in another week. But it's where I kind of learned to have some fun on
Yeah,
here.
you kind of cut your teeth on radio right here.
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. But and everybody's treated me very fairly. So let me ask you this, Ben. So what is your ideal goal of what you want to do?
You mean like the end goal, or
No, okay,
this
so here
weekend?
you are. No, not this weekend. That's, I can't even think that far.
Well, it's Easter. Hang out with my family.
Yeah.
True.
All right.
True. Mom Scout.
My end goal, what I would really love to do with boats, is eventually have my own little sailboat fleet, charter them out.
All right. Kind of like the Windjammer fleet. Do you know what Windjammer was? That was the
Yeah,
tall
didn't
sailing
they- yeah.
vessels, right?
Yeah, maybe not so much that. That'd be cool. I wouldn't mind working on one of those, but yeah, nothing like sailing. It's
And where do you
beautiful.
want to sail? I mean, is there a particular part of the world that you like, or
everywhere. I haven't been to all the bodies of water to know which one is my favorite, but I mean, I've definitely enjoyed all
You like
the
the
ones I've been
Mediterranean,
to.
though, right? It's
Yeah,
pretty
Mediterranean
cool.
was nice.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
sharks there, so that's always
where
good.
did you tell us where you sailed in Europe? What
We
countries?
started let's see. I got picked up in Nice, and then we went east along the coast to Monaco, and then from Monaco we sailed south to this island called Stromboli, which is where the Stromboli was
Right.
invented.
Right.
And
A
then
lot of thought went into the name of that.
yeah, it's
Stromboli,
really unique.
yeah. I want a Stromboli.
Live volcano that erupts there all the time, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we went east, kind of cruised down to Naples, then kind of bopped back and forth to some different islands, and went through the Straits of Messina, and I ended my trip in Corfu in Greece.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And then he continued his way up to, Croatia and everything, and then went back, and then that's when they did the crossing. The ARC race,
Mm-hmm.
it's a race that they have. They do one across the Atlantic and also circumnavigate the world, but he won the ARC race for the multi-hull division, and he was the only
Wow.
one who didn't have professional crew. It was just him and his brother and some other friends, and he had his other brother on land who was like control center, giving
Right.
him all the information.
Satellite
Isn't
information.
that
Yeah.
crazy?
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Ken has been sailing his whole life. Him and his family, they're from Seattle,
Ah.
so they've just been
Yeah.
sailing, doing
Yeah.
ice sailing and everything, anything you could think of. Yeah.
Wow.
So now he's discovered drones. And I'll have to show you this. He sent a really cool drone video that he just did, and he's
St. Lucia.
Where's he? In St. Lucia, and they're catching jack, these little fish.
Yeah, they're just these little. It's pretty cool what they do. There's a bunch of boats, these big fiberglass hull boats with like a, 175 on the back, and there's 4 or 5 guys just standing on the front with their hands behind their back when they're going full speed, just standing, bolt upright,
Wow.
looking for these bait balls, and then they'll have someone dive in and kind of figure out where they're at, and they'll cast net them with a big net. It's pretty sweet.
And then they just kind of circumvent around, and they get them all trapped in this net, and then they pull it up real fast, and they drop all the fish into the boat, I mean, I was amazed, and they're up to their knees in these fish. And
What kind of fish were they pulling
I don't
in?
remember. Some little.
I think
some
they were
little
called like
dinkers.
jack, and then what they do is they fry them and eat them, and it's kind of like a delicacy or a treat in their country, and so they just take them back. You're there. I mean, it was really cool. I mean, it was a 4-minute, and he had the drone up above with this. Really great island music as is going. I mean, it was very entertaining. So, and there was Ken in that? He was in there, wasn't he, doing that, or was he off somewhere?
No, he was. Yeah, he was probably on his boat. I think those things go pretty far. He uses the Mavic, which is like pretty nice one. The first one that he had, he ended up. He's not really sure what happened to it. He flew it to check out this boat called the Maltese Falcon. It's one of the largest privately owned sailboats.
No.
It's insane.
Yeah.
It has these the masts, like the sails come out of the middle of them and they can turn to
Whoa.
the whole mast. It's insane. It's triple masted,
Was that thing like about 200 feet?
big. I don't know. It's real big, real nice. But he flew it right up to their boat, and either it went out of range and fell, or I'm sure they probably have some sort of high tech
Countermeasures.
Yeah, they probably have like
Scud.
EMP went off and he lost it, and he
Yeah.
tried to get it back from it, and they were basically told him
Yeah, game over.
go fly a drone.
That Maltese is amazing. We were in Tortola in the BVI's a few years ago, and we saw it a couple times, and it was just you kind of just go, wow. So,
It's crazy what they can do on that. I mean, this 80-foot boat's the biggest I've worked on, and it's a luxury yacht for sure. But you have these other boats that have 40-foot boats coming out of the side of them, along with their fleet of wave runners and their cars, and it's insane.
Those are all those super yachts from the
Super
other
yacht,
Russian.
like 300 feet. Helicopter on it, looked like James Bond's villain or something.
It is right out of a Bond movie. I remember we were down there at Turks and Caicos and everything. It was a cool experience. So, I'm glad you've been able to get out and see it. And you guys got good at diving for lobster and
Yeah, we did some lobster diving. When we were in the Caribbean, they have the spiny lobster, the clawless langosta. We did a bunch of that. Killed hundreds and hundreds of lionfish.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know how to fillet them up without killing yourself, obviously.
yeah.
Wow.
That's the
They
trick
ta-
on those,
They
right?
taste pretty
Yeah,
good.
it tastes nice. It's like
Yeah.
like a flaky white fish.
All right.
It's nice.
Yeah, it's just getting rid of all the spiny.
Yeah, you just cut them off.
Yeah.
Once you cut them off, they're good. They're not poisonous. They're just venomous, which means that in order for you to be affected, you have to physically be injected by one of the spines.
See.
Yeah.
All right.
So Ben became our authority, and
Yeah.
again, you can tell I'm kind of proud of him. But
Well,
when I got the radio,
Dad.
thanks, Dad. I love it. What else do you want to say while you're here? You want to say hi to your mom?
Hi, mommy.
Ah.
No, I want
Are you gonna get her on the show or what? You guys gonna do a
No,
tag team?
Mom won't be on the show. She's leaving
She's
that
the
up.
supervisor, right?
She is.
Yes,
She's
yes.
the keeper of the
Yeah.
She's the keeper. I'm so lucky she married me. I don't know. Well, I want to just say that Ben and his brother, when it's fun to be around them. We a lot of times because they're both kind of tall. I'm the runt in the family at 6'2", and a lot of times we'll be somewhere and people will say to them, "What do they say to you, Ben?" They go,
Wait a minute, y'all twins. It doesn't matter where they're from. It doesn't matter their accent. That's like the exact way that they say it.
Wow.
So we just tell them we're clones.
Clones.
And once I hit them with that, it was a military-funded program back in the 80s. There's no reason for them to doubt.
Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Check it out, everybody. Campion Clones. Look it up.
"Thanks, Ben. That's cool." Well, there's one of the other great things. We just got a couple minutes left. Is it's nice that if anybody, people who are listening, we always talk about our. I don't want to throw millennial in there because it can be overused, but that we have our younger people that are still here, working here,
Yeah.
and that's really important. It's the hardest thing to do, and everybody out there, businesses, and a lot of people are working on making that happen. Now, I don't expect Ben to stay here forever, but we're really glad to have him in the area.
Yeah.
And,
you never know, years forward, what's going to happen. He
What's
might
gonna
have
happen.
like this monster boat that he needs a place to park it, and Stewart could just be the place. So
Yeah, it's true.
you never know.
Well, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true. We're hoping Ken will bring that sailboat here sometime soon. So here we are closing out March. Hard to believe, huh?
Yeah.
Went fast. Oh, yeah, by the way.
It went so fast, I just got a notification that it was over.
Okay. By the way, you had a really good day yesterday, didn't you? Or was that on Sunday?
I've had better days than I had on
Okay.
Sunday.
Well, Ben used to deliver pizzas and lock his keys in the car a lot. So
okay.
I used to do some running out on Sundays. That was back in high school. And then I think, would you have to visit AT&T with the phone in the water? the
Yeah,
other
I went
day?
down
You gave the
to
phone a bath,
prep
huh?
one of the boats and hopped in, and it flew out of my pocket. Luckily, my boss gave me one of their phones they use for international travel, so that was very nice of them to do. And went up to AT&T to get it set up and lock my keys in my car.
Oh,
Everyone out there, lock your keys in the car. Don't do it.
Hey,
Get
you
a spare
guys,
key.
that's my son Ben. I'm glad I got to have him on the show today.
Thanks a lot.
It went fast. It's always a good time, Ben. It was great to have you
It
here.
was like a walk in the breeze, Dad.
A walk in the breeze. You got it. Mike, thank you for that. Frank, thanks for running the board and
Absolutely.
letting us chat away here. And everybody out there in Martin County and the Treasure Coast, thanks for listening. And we'll be back next week. John Campion with European Kitchen and Bath and Stuart.
and Vero Beach.
And Vero Beach.
Yes.
Yeah. I hope
And we'll have a lot more interesting things to chat about next week. right?
always.
Yes.
Always something going on.
All
Thanks
right.
a lot. Have a great Easter, everybody. We'll see you next month.
Okay. Nice meeting you, Ben.
Yeah, you too, Frank. Thanks.
Thank you, Frank.